game changer. People shouldn't left behind. What do you think about tokenization? It's shaking real estate in Dubai.
Well, I would have to agree with that. You used the right word. It's game changer. It's real estate 2.0 that's actually showed up. I think besides the fact that we are going to do tokenization and investments in real estate using blockchain, which today everyone understands what it is. So one, we have transparency, speed of execution, we've got protection, security, safety, and we've opened out another channel for people to be able to invest, bringing in money through legal platforms. What is important for us in the tokenization here is the opportunities it brings into the market. Today, real estate for a long time had been the preferences of just a few elite people, and then it's cascaded down to a couple of other levels. Yeah. But largely 60 to 70% of the populations would never be able to invest in real estate because of the stiff entry points. Yes. Tokenization now has allowed them to be able to come in, and they can have like fractional ownership or bits and pieces they could come in. So it now allows everybody to have an opportunity to be part of an amazing industry. What I love about the tokenization, also the fractional ownership, is today, even if I have a small amount to invest, I can earn the same percentage of returns like someone who buys an entire apartment.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Because it's a percentage-based return anyway. So regardless of whether I put 10 million into it or I put 500,000 on a token in that, or even lesser, 100,000 or 50,000, I get a proportionate percentage return. So I actually can get the same benefit. In addition to that, today I have the opportunity as an existing buyer who probably was parking all my money in one particular project before, one unit. So I had to be careful about what I selected. I now can move into the same 2 million being parked into 5 or 8 different units. Therefore, I can really improve the potential I have to earn in certain areas. And if I'm in an area where I feel I'm not getting great returns, I can exit. I can sell my token and my share in it. So it gives me a lot more flexibility also as an investor.
And more choices, of course.
More choices. That's my flexibility that I can get into the others. Now, it does a few other things. If I am an investor, I already believe in the Dubai market, but I have limited funds. So I could only enter into certain types of properties. But now there is a possibility that we could have some premium high-end properties coming out as well through tokenization. So I could have exclusivity maintained for some of those villas or one tower, and I could put a second tower in on tokenization, which allows me now, if I'm an investor and I couldn't get into the 20 million, 30 million categories, I could, if an opportunity comes through tokenization, become a part owner of one of those ultra high luxury opportunities, which I couldn't do before. In terms of a developer, what could be some benefits? Many actually. One, it is critical that the escrow is funded well so that I can complete my projects on time with the same quality. Now, many of our communities are more and more complex as we are getting into the future, which means a lot of money has to go into building the infrastructure so that the lifestyle experience is premium.
Yes.
And if I'm not able to sell a lot of inventory, then I have a challenge in developing the infrastructure fast enough to make the community attractive when my towers start to hand over. Because whatever I sold, I've got to bring the money from there for my infrastructure. But if I'm not selling much, I know my infrastructure is also going to be delayed, which means when I complete a tower, people are not going to be very happy because the lifestyle opportunity, which they saw on the brochures and the sales centers, is not yet ready. It's going to take time.
Yes.
With tokenization now, I have opened out a whole new market that can actually come into these communities, pick up more units. Therefore, I have the possibility of using so much of that money to be able to complete my infrastructure and my buildings. Another benefit, let's say you're a new developer who comes in. We have developers who have legacy, the brand, and that pull is there. We can see sellouts happening with certain developers, not all, but it is happening. So if I'm a new developer coming in, my intent is correct. I want to be a quality player on the Dubai landmark, real estate landscape. So, but I do not yet have the credibility or performance here to show that. So I'm competing against some of the big boys and the big names, and their units are selling faster than mine. Now I have an opportunity again through the tokenization to be able to sell more units to people who are willing to come in and put that little amount of money, in addition to selling some units which are exclusively owned by individual buyers. So I think This is a revolution literally for us in terms of how real estate is going to be managed and sold in the future, because we're probably the first city on the planet that's doing this. I know Europe and the US are already looking at it, but we have taken real estate investments to the next level. Everyone today, regardless of where you sit on the planet, because it's blockchain, you can have a piece of the Dubai market.
Yeah, and it's good for both the buyer and the developer.
Absolutely, it is.
Well, let's be honest, is AI going to replace Dubai real estate agents or no?
Okay, will it replace all agents? No. Will it replace some? Definitely. Again, I don't think it's just real estate. I think across industries, copywriters, for example, are having a serious challenge right now because ChatGPT is killing them. But again, I don't look at it like that. I look at it in a very positive way, because ChatGPT or similar AI tools are actually there to enhance your capability, your productivity, your visibility, and your impact. So if I learn to embrace these technologies and start to use it, I can actually scale up how I am operating in the market and close a lot more deals. At the end of the day, ChatGPT is a tool, but relationships will still matter. In sales today, you need high tech as well as high touch. Okay. So the high tech is coming in, and AI is absolutely brilliant about it, and you're going to see even more come out from the AI side of things. However, there is the high touch required. There's the relationship building. There's relationship selling. That is the key. So the good thing from this is those brokers who are average in the market, the Mickey Mouses as I call them, those are the people who are going to lose out. But again, they too have an opportunity. Get your act together, become a bit more professional with what you do, switch your attitude around, learn how to use AI, and you give yourself a shot to be in the industry. We're not taking you out of the industry. You're taking yourself out of the industry if you're not prepared to innovate and change. The brokers who are professional, built strong networks, know what they're doing. They're at the cutting edge of technology as well as knowledge in the market. They have nothing to fear. In fact, those people will embrace AI and become even better at what they do. So yes, it will replace some people in the market.
So the most important thing for the brokers are to build relationships and have so much knowledge so the AI cannot replace them.
Absolutely, because look, they can enhance the knowledge through AI. AI, at least it's a long way from building relationship, human to human connection. So I honestly don't think AI is going to replace the entire market.
But
the good thing for us is who will be left in the market are going to be premium, exclusive brokers. They will make more money. The market will go to them with confidence because the average has been weeded out. So it's a good thing, actually.
Exactly. So, Dr. Anand, why billionaires are choosing Dubai over Monaco or London?
Okay, there are a couple of answers for this. For sure, we know London is not attractive anymore. The millionaires and the billionaires are all leaving. The billionaires of the world will still hold some signature assets and portfolios in London because it is one of the best cities in the world. When they are exiting, they're not exiting with everything. They'll keep a foot in that place, but they're looking for new territories to expand for multiple reasons. Business opportunities, visibility on a global stage, tax benefits, quality of life, safety, brand new infrastructure, ecosystems for business open, technology, future opportunities. So there are so many other reasons why people are choosing. Now, Monaco is largely seen as a tax haven and a very premium lifestyle. So that is the reason people go there. But people want beyond that as well for the future of their own businesses and their families. Dubai today, with its economic models and the growth agenda, is ticking every box for most of these people from around the world, which is the reason why we have the highest millionaire migration numbers for the last 2 years. This year is going to be even more impressive. So they are going to come in because of what we offer as a composite complete package. London would be attractive on 2 or 3 elements. Monaco would be on 2 or 3. Dubai is a full package that we're given. We have become the solution to the problems of the world. That's the reason why they are preferring it today.
So what are some things people do not check before purchasing a luxury property in Dubai?
Okay, I think what they need to really look at is the legacy of the developer. People can promise a lot on paper. They can promise it through the computer graphics and all of the renders. But the real truth, the moment of truth, is when you put the key into the door.
Yeah.
So if the legacy of the developer is not being looked at, particularly when you're talking higher investment amounts, then you could have a challenge. One. Second is everybody today is saying luxury. Luxury. Even the tier two developers are
Yeah,
saying
exactly.
affordable luxury,
Yeah.
which I'm not even sure you can use the word luxury, but they're doing it, right?
Yeah.
They're trying to tell you it's luxury. How is luxury affordable? It just does not sit correctly. Now, so the challenge here is what is luxury? Are they giving you genuinely luxury or are they giving you premium quality? Because when I see, if I walk into sales centers and I see people presenting, they'll be naming brands. They'll
Yeah.
tell you this is a global brand. Look
Yeah.
at the taps that we are using, world class, all of that. So they're talking about the quality of the tiles. They're talking of all of that. Luxury is an experience.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so what people are presenting is the features. We use this marble from Europe. We use this kind of wood from Lebanon. We use these kind of sanitary ware. Those are, so what does that mean for me?
Yes.
That's when I understand the luxury. What's my experience going to be if you are using that? The tabletop that you're using, the kind of wood, the kind of marble, the glass finish. What's my benefit from that?
Yes.
So a lot of people, when they are selling luxury, even in the premium developers, are focusing on the luxury or perceived luxury features. Those are not luxury.
Yes.
Those are high quality or premium quality features. As a result of that, what is going to be my experience? That's when you are actually talking luxury.
So it's not that important that what are the materials from. It's more important that how it is customized for each person.
I think both, Nagin. It is important to have good quality material being used, good quality brands coming in there. But you cannot just tell me about brands. You have to be able to show me why this brand enhances the status value of the home or the exclusivity and makes me feel signature when I walk in. I'm not switching on a tap to just get the water from it. What does that mean for me? What does it mean for me to be in that particular tower? So that is what we are looking at luxury for, because people who really understand luxury, it's about the scarcity, it's about the exclusivity, and it is about the experience that they are looking at. It is not only about the finish and the material that you use. That is premium quality.
So tell me the wildest thing that a luxury buyer ever requested.
I'm not sure if it qualifies as the wildest thing, because there is just so much crazy stuff happening there. But recently, I had a Qatari investor who was coming in, and he loves these vintage cars, the antique cars. And he was looking at villas, and he was looking at them in Pearl Jumeirah area. And he turned up and said, okay, he looked at the villas, he loves it. He said, can we convert the entire basement, which was kitted out to be party areas with gyms, with a pool area, there was a bar, and there was the home theater. He said, I want everything revamped because I want to put 12 cars in there.
Oh,
So it's like, okay, now that is a conversation I need to have with the seller to see if he's ready to even do that.
Yeah.
And it requires a lot more than just putting, these are antique cars. So what's the environment you want? What kind of air filters have to go? So till this point, I don't know if that would qualify as the wildest, but that was, at least for me, someone coming in and saying he didn't care about the villa for himself or his family. He cared more for his 12 cars that he wanted to bring. And he was ready to put the 70 million and 90 million for that. For my cars, not for the home.
so we see billionaires paying like over $50 million into mansions in Dubai. So what are they seeing that like regular investors do not see?
Again, if they're putting the $50 million, firstly, this is a product that is offering or justifying that price tag. So like I said earlier, it could be the exclusivity, it could be a signature lifestyle, it could be perception of who I am. It could be an exclusive entry into a certain club of people. And as a result, that is what I want. That's what sets me apart from. It's like when you go to Madison Avenue and the penthouses at the top, very, very exclusive. Not anyone or everyone could get into it, even if they had the money. So there were minimum criteria to be able to come into that. And today, with the millionaires and the billionaires of the world moving across here, they're not into good homes, great homes. They're into exclusive homes. They're looking into those experiences. Many of the billionaires who may not even be wanting to relocate here have recognized that Dubai today is at the center of the world's attention, and they all want a piece of that pie. You could look at Bollywood stars, Hollywood stars, you could look at footballers, and they're all putting 220 million in mansions. They don't plan to relocate here. But today, if you do not have a trophy asset in your portfolio that comes out of Dubai, you are not seen as one of those exclusive people where you have actually reached far enough in your portfolios. Today, Dubai has become a must for a lot of people at that level to have, even if they're not planning to relocate, they will buy a property in Dubai.
And talking about the Ras Al Khaimah Wind Casino, and all the projects nearby are going to rise. We are going to have high ROIs and lots of capital appreciation. So how do you see the Wind Casino in Ras Al Khaimah?
Firstly, the appreciation has already happened. The percentage of transactions has been going up. If you just have been watching your social media and the news, percentage of transactions has jumped 25,000% in terms of the transactions. The premium waterfront properties are all getting very good returns. Are they better than the properties in Dubai? Not at all. Because Dubai has been offering waterfront luxury lifestyles for years and years. Those have grown and benefited from the fact that they are close to the waterfront, close to Majan Island, and where the casino is coming up. Now RAC has also recognized that the future of RAC is not the casino. The casino was what got the attention and it became the entry point, which is why they expanded from there into waterfront lifestyles. Now they're getting into RAC Central, which is going to be the next DIFC. So they're creating business opportunities, financial opportunities. So they're creating more reasons for you to come to RAC. They're creating an ecosystem for free zones. We have RAC DAO, the digital asset oasis. The first digital asset oasis in the world as a free zone is in RAC. So RAC is now pulling besides the casino because they do realize it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time when Abu Dhabi and Dubai will have casinos.
So it's not only about the casino or being a resort. It's becoming a real city with economical improvements.
It is, but RAC needed something to catch the imagination of the world. Logically, if you had to look at a business plan, it would make sense to have it in Dubai. And then probably even in Abu Dhabi. It would make sense in Abu Dhabi also. And they will come. Those casinos will come. However, to bring RAC into the game, what did RAC have to really... They had a couple of islands and waterfront lifestyles. Not enough to pull the punch and to be able to attract that kind of business, foreign direct investments and growth opportunities. So they needed something that was exclusive, not just to UAE, even to the whole region. And that's where the casino came in. And when the casino came in, it brought a lot of attention into RAC, and many developers capitalize on that, have gone in there, and real estate is booming, hospitality will boom, tourism is going to boom, now the business environments are going to boom. So yes, they use that to spotlight RAC, but they're not depending on the casino only for the future, because that would be a big mistake, because you are going to see casinos in the future in Dubai as well as in Abu Dhabi. Now, with Dubai and Abu Dhabi, the economic agendas are so attractive that they are still able to hold their own compared to RAC. It's like the Hong Kong and Macau, as you would look and see them. There's not much in Macau that you could do beyond the casinos. So the real lifestyle that people have there is in Hong Kong. They do a hydrofoil or they take a helicopter and go into Macau. But no one plans to live in Macau as tourists. They go there primarily for the casinos, and then they come back for the rest of their journey and lifestyle experiences to Hong Kong. You will see a Dubai and RAC having a similar kind of relationship going forward. But for us as a city, what does this mean? Nothing. It is no way going to reduce the influence of Dubai, because Dubai's attraction is on 10,000 other things. Just let's take a look at some numbers. If you look at 2024 itself, the real estate performance of the UAE and Dubai. The UAE had 331,000 transactions worth 894 billion last year. That's all 7 Emirates included. Dubai had 226,000 transactions. Almost 70% of the transaction volume was one emirate. And the other 6 emirates was 30%. When you look at the value of the transactions, it's even more impressive. We had 760.7 billion dirhams was the revenue or the value of the property sale in Dubai. That was 85% of the total real estate turnovers. So 15% was Six Emirates and 85% was Dubai. So we know who we are. We have our agendas. We're happy that our brother next door in Iraq is coming into the game, because when all of these Emirates start getting more attention internationally, that's good for the UAE. It's good for Saudi Arabia is doing well today. We're happy for that. We are now in a much stronger region, and Dubai is in a much stronger country, and all of this is going to bring positive value for us. There's no downsides to this.
So you think buying in Ras Al Khaimah right now is like buying in Dubai Marina like 20 years ago?
Yes, like buying in Dubai Marina 20 years ago. Yes, you can get. Basically, Iraq is sitting where Dubai was sitting with opportunity 20 years ago. Just a different kind of opportunity.
Yes.
That's it.
Dubai is breaking records by luxury segment in real estate. So why the high net worth investors are buying luxury so much these days?
Again, Dubai at a few years back could not attract a certain exclusive segments. They still preferred the Londons, the New Yorks, to a certain extent the Parises, the Singapores, maybe even a Beijing, places like that. That's because the brand Dubai, while it was a beautiful city, was still not global enough to get the attention. And there was a lot of work that we still had to do in Dubai in terms of building the infrastructure, creating the economic agendas, demonstrating our commitment by actually delivering on previous agendas, and then setting in place, capitalizing on what was happening globally. Because our advantage has been that we could learn from the older cities. And in addition to that, coming up with a strategy. So Sheikh Mohammed was brilliant in this, and his entire cabinet of ministers. Dubai is an engineered city. It is not an organic city. Dubai is growing not because of certain influences from around the world. We are growing on our own strength, on our models. Yes, what has happened in many places in the world benefited us and supported it, but we were not planning for this. When you create your economic agenda for the next 10 years, you don't even know if there's going to be another pandemic or not. You don't even know if there's going to be another war or not. We have no idea. So we don't plan our agendas in our cities based on something that might happen. We plan it on what we are sure we can control and deliver. And in case any of these things happen, we've already factored those with our emergency responses into the system. For example, the Dubai Future Foundation, one of their key goals is to create what is called future accelerators to help the strategy and the plans of the government to accelerate their responses and turnarounds. Maybe there is a pandemic tomorrow. It doesn't get announced overnight, it builds into that. But we are looking at creating technology and AI to help us identify those potentials and what are the best case scenarios for responses, so we are future ready when these kind of things happen. So from that perspective, I think Dubai has now grown to stand on its own agenda, and that's the reason why today the millionaires and the billionaires of the world are preferring Dubai, because this is a city where I can see my future. I can see what's happening, and everything is transparent today. The government is putting their money where their mouth is, and all that development is actually matching these agendas. You will not see any other city on the planet that has published these economic agendas.
Yes.
And that is the reason why today people are looking at Dubai. We have become the solution to the problems of the world.
Yeah, like people are buying luxury properties like crazy, like in seconds, in minutes, like worth of 30 million something is going to be sold out. And people have the cash and they are ready to buy, but there's no unit left.
Yes, again, you're right. And in fact, we will see this trend continuing. It is happening for two reasons, like I mentioned. One, the type of people looking to come into Dubai has changed. Today, people are seeing Dubai as a better option compared to a New York, compared to a London, compared to a Singapore. They never saw it this way 5 years ago, 8 years ago. But today, they are absolutely convinced. The handling when the pandemic happened, the economic agendas and how our economy has been growing. This year, the global average projection by IMF is 3.2%. Dubai is at 5.1%. If you look at the IMF projections, if you look at the Central Bank of UAE, their projection is 6%. We are between 63 to 75% higher than the world average for a GDP growth rate. We have the strongest, the most, not strongest, the most stable economy on the planet. Today, the US World and News reports. So these millionaires and billionaires have recognized the future is in Dubai. 196 of the Fortune 500 companies now have their regional head offices in Dubai. That is 40% of the best companies in the world are here.
Yes,
So-
exactly. And also, I think the Al Maktoum Airport and Dubai South is going to change.
100% again, part of the requirement in the city to handle or to have this kind of growth is to have the airports to be able to handle the people who are coming in. Not only are we building the best airport in the world, it's now called an aeropolis. It's like a city by itself.
Wow.
And that is usually airports are the first impressions and last impressions of people and their experience when they come to cities. So we just don't want to build on scale. We have to build on scale to manage what's coming in, but we're building on the experience that you're coming into an airport city itself. So we want to make sure that your experience in that airport will be matched by no other airport on the planet. Just like we want to do the same in everything else in Dubai. We want the best economic agendas. We want the best taxation agendas, the best education agendas, the best quality of life strategies, the best ecosystems for business. The GEM report, Global Entrepreneurship Monitor report, for the last 3 years, Dubai has been number one in the world. On there's 13 criteria, India beat us as number one, but overall we are number one, and we are number one on 12 of the 13 criteria. We put all the first world countries in the shade. So because of this, today you find a lot of people wanting to buy the high net worth homes because I want to relocate or I want a signature home here. I want to have a piece of this. If you just look at the Knight Frank report, if we look at the numbers from last year, Dubai sold 431 homes in the $10 million and above category.
Wow.
New York sold 240 and London sold 211. If you put New York and London, and you cannot argue these two are powerful, globally recognized world-class cities. When I combined London and New York together, they did 451 homes in the $10 million category. Dubai, a young city, sold just 20 homes less than London and New York combined.
That's interesting.
We can see the future that's happening here in luxury.
So, tell me one word to some people that are still hesitating to buy a property in Dubai.
One word,
Yes.
losers. If it's one word, you didn't give me much choice on this.
One sentence.
If it is one sentence, how much do you plan to lose in the next 6 months to 1 year?
Wow. Yes.
Yeah, if it is one word, I have no choice.
Exactly, that
If
is
you
it.
want, you are a loser because you're losing out. You're not a loser, you're just losing on such an amazing opportunity to actually build your own brand worth, credibility, and have an excellent portfolio. So you are a loser from that perspective. If it is one sentence, how much more do you plan to lose this year?
So, is it only for billionaires, or if somebody with 1 million dirhams, 2 million dirhams still have a chance to purchase something and have a capital growth?
Absolutely. Because the market is tiered. You got the tier 1, the ultra luxury. You got the tier 2, which is luxury. You got the tier 3, which is called affordable luxury. I would prefer a different name, but I'm okay with them using it. So you got these multiple categories. And now because of tokenization,
Yes.
I have people who can even transcend from one category to another category. Still pretty new. It's quite new, but there are developers who are already getting into the game, and it's out in the newspapers. So I don't mind mentioning it. You had Damac Properties, absolutely brilliant, always future focused, at the cutting edge of technology and future readiness. Damac has always been that way. In January of this year, they've already announced that in 2025, $1 billion worth of inventory is going to be tokenized, and they're going to do it on a platform called Mantra, which comes out of India. That platform has been in existence from 2007. So it's a platform that has a proven track record. Last year, we already had a similar similar example, the MAG Group had announced $500 million worth of property to be tokenized in the Kitura Reserve.
Yeah.
And it was the properties in the Maidan area and the Dubai Creek side. So we can already see developers who are a little bit ahead of the market, who are in the game. But I'm sure you're going to see a lot more people entering this year.
So we're seeing that so many prop tech companies are coming into real estate section. So why is that? So
Okay, again, it's evolution. Today, AI and technology is running the world. And why should that be limited only to healthcare, event management, hospitality, ecosystems for business, fintech, finances, etc.? Why not real estate? So it was only a matter of time that technology at that level was going to enter real estate. The one thing I would like to talk about, which is interesting, you're right. There are a lot of prop tech companies now that are quite aggressive in the market, getting quite visible in the market, and I believe more will come. Now, one thing which I would like to talk about, which actually to me makes sense now, why these companies are coming. If you look at the real estate market, we have evolved. The developers have come a long way from 2000 till today. If you look at many of the early communities, they were great communities. They're still good communities, but they cannot match the communities of today in terms of size, complexity, lifestyle, amenities, luxury. They just cannot. Because in the year 2000, when we were announcing these, we ourselves needed to learn and grow. We did not have access to that kind of the world did not have some of that kind of technology, and we had a limited understanding and experience, and we had to grow one step at a time. We did not even know in the year 2000 would the Dubai real estate model be so successful. So we had to come in slow. If you look at the older buildings that came out again in those first few years, they can no way compete against the buildings of today. So developers have evolved. Now we have energy efficient buildings. We have self-healing buildings. We have got eco-friendly. We've got blue-green. So we've got buildings that are micro cities in themselves with all the lifestyle that you need. You don't even have to leave the building. Previously, it was the building and you went into the community for these. Now you have everything within your own building. Yeah. It's become a micro community. So developers have evolved in a very, very big way. Buyers have evolved. We are now seeing buyers who were never here in the market before. Germany is coming in a big way. Italy is sitting at number 3. We've got a lot of people relocating and migrating from places like Singapore, the US, Canada, Europe. And these are people who are coming from markets which are heavily dependent on data, track records, access to information, transparency. They never looked at Dubai before, and they're all looking at Dubai. Not just because of the data and the transparency, because the lifestyle and the brand Dubai has become visible. What I'm trying to say here is the sophistication of the buyers and their requirements that need to be met before they will move has happened, and those buyers are coming, and Dubai is able to meet that criteria for them. We now have institutional funds. We have family funds coming in here. They're setting up offices in this area. We never had that before, and now there's tokenization happening. So we are seeing that the buyers are also developing and evolving. They're becoming very complex. The one place where we've had an issue is the brokerage agencies. 24 years later, we're running on pretty much the same models. 98% of the market is on that. They haven't moved into AI. Is just being embraced by a few, and it's good for them because they will leverage from that. Most of them are not. They're on a traditional model. So they are going to be in trouble because the new companies are coming up. The prop tech companies, the neo companies are coming up. So when your market has evolved in terms of product offering, when the consumers have evolved in terms of the buyers entering the market, how can you as a brokerage, as the middleman between these two, be still traditional and historical? Yeah. You're going to get wiped out. So you want to play the game, wake up, rethink your strategies, and start to go into prop tech and into the future, because otherwise you are going to be in trouble in the future. That's why we're seeing prop tech companies have to come up, because everything is on platforms today. The neo concept. Neo businesses started, especially when you look at millennials, when they started entering the business arena, They didn't want to go to offices. They set up their companies working at home from computers, and they're making millions of dollars. So people did not feel the need to even go into offices anymore. COVID confirmed that further for a different reason, but it proved that the work from home model would be okay. So many companies now are being created. Their customers are online. They are networking. Their logistics and shipping channels, everything is being managed. The finances are being managed online. So those are neo businesses. Banks have moved down that road as well. We now have neo banks. You don't even need to come to the bank to do business.
It's all online.
Everything online. So now the brokerages are going into a neo model. So they're saying you don't even need to come into the brokerage office. As long as you know who you're an entrepreneur-minded person, like those neo millennials, you will still run your business from a smartphone on a beach.
Yeah.
And this is the future of real estate. So either we have the agencies evolve and come up to this level, or many of them are going to have to
Disappear.
shut down.
Yeah.
Many of them. So Negan, tell me this. I know you operate in the luxury space, and I'm happy for that, because that's where you make your maximum money as well.
Yeah.
So since you've chosen to operate in the luxury space and you want to be seen as an expert, I want to understand, how do you select a luxury developer or a community? How do you select it, and what's the reason you would want to work with that kind of a community?
So just like you mentioned earlier, it's about experience. And for example, we had this Oasis by MR recently, and they had these branded villas like Address and Palace. So people already love Emirates Hills. They know the experience. They know the level of luxury they can experience in that community. And it's also MR, so it's already proven record of being handed over on time, very high quality, and even for the investors, it always shown a high capital appreciation and ROI. And nowadays, like for example, one of my own favorite project was this The Oasis by MR, because it had like lagoons and very beautiful villas, big sizes, big plots, and the price per square feet was so low in the market, like it was only 2,000 something, comparing to other villa communities like Dubai Hills, Emirates Hills, Jumeirah Golf Estate, and others. So price-wise, it was so good, and also for the luxury lovers, it was beautiful big mansions and villas, 4 bedrooms with basement for the first time, and 5 bedrooms near the water, 6 bedrooms, big sizes, and also we can expect a high return of investment because it's in Dubai South. It's close to Al Maktoum Airport, the biggest airport in the world. So from every angle, that was the best option I thought any investor can buy in Dubai. And it was beautiful for living in a villa like that.
Absolutely. I think it's coming up in an area which is going to be the future
Yes.
of Dubai.
Yeah.
So when you come in early in those kind of areas, you're definitely going to... That's a common business formula in real estate. So if people have understood that, and whoever's gone in early, for sure they're going to make money there. And not to forget the legacy of the developer, amazing developer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So many people are not familiar with the concept of blockchain and cryptocurrency, digital assets, how they need to be sure that it's something safe, and if they buy through tokenization and blockchain, it's going to be safe for their money. How is it?
Okay, great question. And I think it's a fair question as well. It is true that a lot of people still are not familiar with blockchain. So for whoever's listening to this podcast, if they understand it, probably this answer is not so much for them. But since there are a lot of people who are curious, they want to know what this is, but they don't have the understanding of the fundamental technology that is going to be used for the tokenization, let's talk about blockchain. Blockchain actually is a decentralization of information as well as the controls. In a typical traditional business model, you would have one center or source of all the information. Now, in the old business models, that was probably perceived as security because everything was in one place. It was easy to manage, but not anymore. With the advent of technology and the way it has been growing, it is no longer safe to maintain everything in one place.
Yes.
So blockchain is the system by which you disseminate the information across a computer network to multiple sources, and all of them share the same information in real time. Every single movement on a transaction can only happen when it has approval from every computer in the network. Say maybe 5,000 computers are being used to manage that information, which is managed in blocks on all of these, and that's why they come together, they're networked, so it's called a blockchain.
Yes.
Now this actually is advantageous because it's higher security. Reason being, if any one of these are tampered with and there's an alteration of data, the others in the network will reject it. So it is virtually impossible to commit fraud or to work with changing and altering of data, which actually makes it a lot more secure. And because many of these are around the world, being a digital technology that we are using, today global access is there, transparency is there, speed of execution is there, smart contracts are being given online, a lot of middlemen are eliminated from the process, so it can happen within seconds or minutes. And I could sit in Brazil, I could sit in Outer Mongolia, I could sit in India, or I could sit in Egypt, and I can still immediately get the benefit of it, which is why I don't have to necessarily work through middlemen. Now, to make it even simpler, because I've been asked this question, and just yesterday I spoke with a couple of agents and they said, simplify it. I'm not a technology person. I don't get it. Can you give me an example that is not so technical?
Yeah.
And so I thought about it. I said, okay, here, this works. Let's say you're playing a board game. You, me, and two others. Now, the board game has got certain rules. You have to operate within that framework of rules, and you score your points within those rules. You cannot operate outside the rule. And typically in that game, there could be one person who's keeping the scores. Let's say it's me. So I keep the scores, but you would never know. I might cheat and alter some of the information. And since there's only one source of the information, all of you are dependent on that one person.
Yes.
Now let's change the game a little bit. We still operate within the same rules and parameters. We still earn points the same way. But now I'm not the only one with a notebook writing down scores. You have a notebook as well. And the other two who are playing have. So all four of us have a notebook. So when I score 10 points and I make an entry, all of you are making an entry that I scored 10 points.
Yes.
So with every entry, we now have 4 records that match. So let's say I change something quietly. Instead of a 10, I put 1,000. There are 3 others that will flag it and they will reject the information.
Yes.
So this is exactly what happens in the blockchain, that the information at the different sources are all matched with each other constantly. So if anything is an anomaly or goes out of normal, it gets flagged and gets rejected immediately. So that's what happens in blockchain. We have the digital networks, we have the platforms on which we operate, which is the game. And you, me, and the others have got our notebooks, which are the digital ledgers, which capture the information. And those ledgers work with each other through the blockchain.
Yeah.
Now, safety. People could be concerned about this as well, because digital currencies, large parts of the world still resist it, and they're not comfortable with it.
Yes.
So it becomes very important in something like this that you have monitoring bodies. So the first thing that Dubai is doing is they're introducing it as a pilot initiative. And there are multiple governing bodies in this, as well as the platforms themselves. So, for example, you have the Dubai Land Department. Now, the Dubai Land Department's role will be that all those units or buildings or communities that are going to be tokenized will have to be registered as such in the Land Department. So the Land Department will ensure that the sale of those only happen through tokens on the platforms that we have nominated for it. So the developer cannot sell it outside. People cannot buy it without tokenizing the money. So fiat money, which is paying through credit cards, cash, bank transfers, will not operate anymore for such a system. They can do that for the developer for other projects that were not put up for tokenization. So as a developer, I can still hold that model for some, tokenize some properties, so I can have more revenue come in because I can have multiple owners. So that's what will happen. So DLD's job is to ensure that these units that are tokenized are monitored, that their sale happens only through the tokens. Renting of these units, facility managements, resales will all enter into tokenization. So you will find a lot of those companies also entering into the game. Now there is VARA, which is the Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority. VARA regulates all of these transactions to ensure that there is no fraud. So in terms of the actual transaction side, VARA becomes the monitoring body. Then there is the Dubai Future Foundation, which is part of this initiative. And one of their goals is to bring up more of these future ready initiatives, future strategies and policies, museum of the future, future labs for biotech, for AI, robotics, all of that is in place. They're also looking at future accelerators so that the government is always ready in any moment to be able to respond lightning fast, because AI is predicting what's going to happen before it happens, and so we can respond. So you have the Dubai Future Foundation monitoring this futuristic approach. You got the Land Department protecting the properties that are tokenized. You have VARA monitoring and protecting the transactions from fraud, and then the platform itself has got their own checks and balances built into it. So for example, we're using Mantra, that is where, like Damak is using Mantra, even MAG went with Mantra, which is from 2007 in India. There are other platforms. There is Propi, there is the Lofty, and so all these are coming in from the US. So there are so many others entering the space, and these platforms are verified by VARA to ensure that they meet the requirements through international regulatory standards, financial standards, digital transactions, tokenization. So there is the checks and balances by the platforms themselves. There is VARA involved, there's DFF involved, and there's the Dubai land. So I think there's a lot gone into it to protect the investors. So they should be able to come in without any fear.
Yeah, it's all safe.
All safe.